What is up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I am a musician who reacts to video game music that he's never played or heard about. This is going to be a request for Red Blaze 27. This is Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth, and the song is called Pull the Trigger. This image is frightening. I don't know if I've done Persona Q2 New Cinema. I don't know. There's so many spin-offs. I'm just going to call it Persona. The song is called Pull the Trigger. It also says P3P. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Whatever game it is, pull the trigger. But it is Persona, so I have high hopes. Let's go. I'll hold my thoughts.
At the same time, it's real life on the verge of deciding the color of the rest of your life. Bit too heavy to think like that, but knowing both sides leave big impact. Get wise and rise, so it be best to find.
Some of my regrets come haunting me till this day. Choice I made, it was wrong. I thought that you believed that I was alone. I learned it harder way, but you didn't have to.
Baseline is so simple, but it's so good. And then I think it goes up a fifth. Pretty sure. Shredding in the background though. So it's a 4-bar chorus by another rap verse. Break this time, or a bridge. Keep going. No, this is the bridge. I wish that went longer.
Destiny, I saw before. I'm scarred up, but I'm feeling good. Move, destiny, I'm coming through. Partner, we can do this right. You're the fire, I'm the wind tonight. Burning dread, haha, that's right. Baby, we tight.
That's fast. That's a lot of breath control. I'm imagining it's gonna be over soon, yeah. Sounds like it's ending.
I'll pull the trigger, make it look flashy even when it's bitter. Cannot defeat me even when I lose. I stand right back to the spot, go figure. You don't see what I see, but you don't have to see what I see. Just see how to ride, despite my differences, we're still tied.
You're in the perfect time for getting big change, especially when we're ready. More times people brutal till it catches you.
Super simple, so effective though. The whole song kind of went into this, like, the whole song was basically a, the key of the song going into the fifth, basically, which is a sound like everyone knows. I think it's the fifth, but it's like bump, 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 and then it goes down. That's been used billions of times. And it always works. It always works. It's just a matter of what you add around it. You know, the bass line is holding that part down. But in this case, a lot of the instruments are doing that too. They kind of have this whole feel of boom, 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 boom. It has like that, just that driving rhythm going with it. But even then, something so simple as that, even the drums, it still manages to stand out because of, again, what they add to layer it. So we had the, dual sound of the girl singing, and then the guy might have been Lotus Juice, who's basically rapping over it as well. So we have already two new flavors to the formula. By the way, that kind of style of rapping is pretty difficult because it's quite fast. There's very little time for breathing. But also the thing about Persona that I like about like Persona's rap particularly is if you guys know anything about hip hop and rap in general, is that there's probably, I don't know, 5-10% of actual instruments being used. It's all sampled, right? They take a song that's already been made, and they put it into a sampler, cut it up, put a beat behind it, song. Or they might produce their own, and they'll use like patches of real instruments. But I'm saying like Persona is like instruments, real drums, real guitars, all that stuff being played live with a rapper over it. That doesn't really happen all that often. The only time you'll ever see that is if you see like a rap artist perform live and they have a band behind them, and you'll notice this will sound kind of off. It's because it never sounds like that on the record. In this case, it sounds like that on the record because it's a live take. It's a very interesting sound, and you don't hear it. And as far as I know, Persona might be the only game that does it. Just another little knick-knack I would throw out there. Pretty cool. So not only was it like fast, controlled rap, but it's also over music instead of a sampled piece that's already been existed before that. So that was kind of interesting. Per usual, the bass in Persona is the shining star. In this case was no different. It was carrying that melody I was talking about, but also it was kind of going crazy. Like during this chorus section, it was kind of riffing out in the same key, which is kind of impressive, but it was hard to hear because at that point everything is like louder and more open, so it kind of drowns out the sound of the bass. I only have one complaint. That little middle section right before the bridge of her singing, where it was just like a drum break on the keyboard solo, that could have gone on for at least, honestly, probably like another 8 bars. That could have just kept, like, there's so much room there for just jamming out in the key. And not only that, it's just the keyboard sounded so good there. Like, it sounded fantastic, and that's the only time you've heard it in the whole song. That's why it stood out, because you didn't hear this sound up until that point, and then by the time you hear it, you're like, woo, and then it goes away. So, just a small complaint of mine. It's like, oh man, that could have kept going easily. You could have squeezed out another like 40 seconds to that song just by jamming out right there. I am totally on the team of just letting songs breathe sometimes. I feel like the art of breaks and solo sections are just kind of like a lost art now. You don't really hear it in any sort of modern music. It's just all about filling the entire space up, but you're not letting like the song like actually like have a moment to speak on its own. I love solo sections. I love stuff like that because it just lets everything shine, and you can kind of just process it, really. You can kind of just enjoy the music and just get lost in it, and ultimately, if I write music, it's to kind of have the listener get lost, for lack of a better word. So, I mean, I'm obviously not going to tell Shoji or whoever composes how to make music. I'm no professional, but I'm just saying, as a listener, I do really appreciate the art of just solos, breaks, rests, just taking it back a little bit and just letting us enjoy the song as opposed to just filling it with noise consistently. I hope that makes sense. Either way, don't know what Persona Q2 is. I don't know what New Cinema Labyrinth is. I don't know what P3P is. I just know it's in Persona, and the song's called Pull the Trigger. Couldn't really hear the lyrics. I did hear the name of the song in there once, But 9 times out of 10, I'm not even paying attention to the lyrics of these songs anyways, of any song I hear on this channel. I just kind of am just taking a backseat and appreciating the music for what it is. I can tell you that the image is creepy as hell though. And that's all I got for you. So, Persona continues to impress, continues to confuse, and what a lively, just cool piece of art. The whole thing is just super artistic and beautiful. I'm a fan. For not playing it and probably never going to play it, I'm a fan. It's a popular thing on my channel for a good reason. I'm seeing why. And I just feel like I'm really late to the party, so. But I would say 99.7% of everything I've heard I've loved from Persona, except for maybe one. But anywho, Persona rules. Uncle's approval. If you want to make a request to me, like Red Blaze did here, you could do so on Patreon or you could do so on PayPal. Either are okay, they're not necessary. And if you don't want to wait in that huge waiting list, because there is a huge waiting list, you can do so on Patreon under the Platinum tier. That will expedite your request to the top, and you don't have to wait. I'll do it as soon as I can. There is a lot of requests. And big shout out to Fly, Justin, Orange, Rogue Monk, Vincent, and Jester for being supporters. Thanks to everyone that's over here. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to the Persona fans. Thanks to Red Blaze for the request. Another video, another Persona song, and we continue the journey. Until next time, dudes and dudettes, my name is Jesse. Peace.